Bong, 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 bong.
Bow, 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 bow,
What's our intro again? I forget
bow.
the intro. Hey, Matthew.
Bow, 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 bow. Unmute.
Unmute everybody.
Everybody is unmuted if you would like to be
Monica,
unmuted.
Jennifer, Matthew. Hey, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Matthew.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
Good. How's it going?
Going great. I'm Shane. This is Chad.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm Matthew.
Nice to meet you, brother. We got Monica here and Jennifer. There's only like 5 people or so. Nice, beautiful, intimate meeting. So, Matthew, tell us a little bit about yourself, brother. What brings you here?
So I am Thursday will mark 7 months for me in my sobriety
Nice. Good
Hell
for you.
yeah.
of alcohol and cocaine. I went to treatment back in March. Just was suicidal and ended up in the suicide ward for a couple days, and then from there, my sister drove 8 hours to come get me, and I went to treatment.
Nice. And that was 7 months ago.
Yeah, 7 months on Thursday will be.
Nice. Good for you, man. I cried my first 9 months.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy. I won't say it has been.
Yeah. No, it's not. God. Wow, the emotions are crazy the first year. Who's got their TV on there?
You want to mute somebody? Because
Someone's watching TV, having a good time.
you figure out which one it was.
So, your sister, that was nice that she drove the 8 hours for you, man.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
We
We
muted you
muted you
on
by
accident.
accident, brother. Unmute yourself again.
are you there?
Yeah, it was nice your sister
So,
drove.
but
Family's important when you're getting sober.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And understanding. You know, my parents had a hard time understanding that it wasn't a problem; it was a disease, and
Yes.
so they finally do understand it. And
Oh,
they're coming around and being supportive.
nice. Well, listen, it took my mom, I think, again, like 9 months, and I had a kid. So I had a kid at
Yeah.
6 months of sobriety, and it took my mom another 6 months until she even met my child, because she wasn't sure. I had to get a year before she was, in my life again.
Yeah, and then I had Tracy, and she's been amazing to me.
Yeah.
She's like a second mom to me.
Nice.
So
Good. Good. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
Do you have it set up where people have to? It says 2 people entered the waiting room. Should it be a waiting room? No.
Hi, Gina. Hi, Michelle. Jennifer, Monica. Hey, guys. I like her hat. Yeah. Double hat. Centralia, Washington.
So you get close to the mic.
Hey there.
Yeah, that just like that, and then turn, and then you can,
Yeah.
because the camera that everybody's gonna see you on is it's up on the ceiling up there,
Yeah, right there.
so you can look at that. Bye. All right, we'll just we'll keep hanging out for a little bit, just chit chat with each other. Shane, how's it going? Stay off your phone.
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could we unmute everybody here?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. No, gets a
All right.
little.
Just a little
No,
rambunctious.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. We're going to just sit amongst us. This guy looks like he's all tatted up here. He's got a nice silver beard going on. What's his name? He's laughing. He's got a good smile, too. Good teeth, man. Good teeth. Hey, brother. Good teeth. Strong teeth. Look at that. He's got a great smile. Lila. Amy. 816-872. We never get the full number.
8675309.
I like her hat. Monica Hall. I don't
Do you remember that song, Anthony?
Oh man, I remember a few things from those days.
Yeah. We
there.
got Anthony Brown in the house tonight. You
Hi,
guys
everybody.
are you
Hi,
guys
Lila.
are
Who's
in
the other lady right there that also
for,
with curly hair? Long brown hair?
treat. He's got to keep the mouse on if you want to if you want to know
She
everybody's
waved. She
name.
knows who I'm talking about. She knows. Amy.
Oh yeah,
Hi,
that's the one
Amy.
we've been singing her phone. There's her full
Yeah.
phone number
Oh,
now.
the phone
We're
number.
not going to sing
She
it.
just took it off. She just.
We're about to call you. We were going to call you right now.
Yeah.
8675309.
Yeah, this is.
All right, guys. Well, cue the
Yeah. Cue our new song.
cue our new song.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. That's nice. That gets us in the mood.
You know, last week the studio was down. It's not fully functional yet, but it is functional enough that we are doing our meeting
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks everyone
Here.
for coming. Appreciate it.
tonight.
All the new people. Thanks.
We got Anthony Brown in the house.
Yeah. Crazy story.
Yep.
Everybody.
You got to get that mic closer to you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Can you hear him? Did you hear him?
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. We can hear him. Turn him up a little. Turn him up a little.
Can you guys all hear Anthony? Anthony, say hello to them again.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
they
good.
can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Right on.
Yeah, so welcome everybody to the
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I wanted to say Friday
Night.
night.
No, that's because you've been off for a few days. You've been sick.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm just getting over being sick. Somebody went on a cruise. It wasn't me. And they brought that shit back to work. And
Yeah, no bueno.
anyway, it's all good.
Yeah.
It really literally knocked me out all weekend. But it gave me some time to do some cool beard. I don't know if any of you guys got to enjoy any of the beard color changes. And
These guys, we got two guys here with two good beards on.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were like they were very similar to the beards that I
They were.
put on from the Snapchat filters.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we had a
Wait, what? What? Wait, what? Fucking what?
I have no idea, guys.
Oh, all right.
I was trying to get to the whole welcome to the Tuesday night Recover Out Loud meeting. We're always excited for this meeting. Recover Out Loud is a movement, not a program.
Yeah.
Right? So I always say this at the beginning of the meetings. If whatever you do on a daily basis to stay sober, keep doing that, because Recover Out Loud, our meeting is just an add-on.
Yeah.
It's not a program. It's a place for us to come talk to each other. Chit chat. A lot of times, this meeting's open to anybody. It's open to people, to addicts, to family members, to people that have lost loved ones,
Drunk people.
people that are still drinking and using.
Don't care.
We don't care.
Hey, I like this kind of
Yeah,
meeting.
we take
Yeah.
them all. We take them all.
Yeah,
We wanna help
you know how we do it,
Hey,
right?
that's right.
You know, we might cut the shares a little short of the people that are drunk or using, just because sometimes they don't make a lot of sense, and we don't want to. But at the same time, we also don't want to make them not feel welcome. You know, because when you don't feel welcome, it's really, really hard to get sober. That's the one thing I do like about the traditions of the 12-step programs, right? The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. You know, you don't even have to have the desire to come to our meeting. Hopefully this meeting will help you find that desire.
We're going to give you some desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have a really good guest tonight, a special guest, Anthony Brown. He has an amazing story. Anthony, you have about 25, let's see what time it is, about 20 minutes to tell your story. So the quicker version of your story.
The quicker version?
Yeah. But I want to give you just guys a little bit of background. You're currently a BSN, correct?
Currently working on
Working on,
an MSN.
oh,
Yes, give me 12 more weeks and I'll be a nurse practitioner.
nice. Awesome.
Wow.
And when you hear his story, you're going to say, how the heck did he do that? You know? So anyways, with no further ado, Anthony, you're up.
Okay, well, let me set my little timer because I tend to get wordy. Hi, everybody. How are you? Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I'm Anthony. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm gonna share my experience, strength, and hope with you today. And maybe I might say something that could make you want to go, I want some of that, or maybe I might say something make you go, I did that too. And I'm an alcoholic, and I call myself an alcoholic because I believe in the 12-step program. I'm also an addict, and I've been an alcoholic and an addict since day one, ever since I was a little kid. Probably about 6 years old, I used to sip beer out of my mom's beer can, and back in the day, she used to smoke and drink and put cigarette butts out in the beer can, and I swallow a few cigarette butts, and next thing you know, I'm addicted to nicotine too. And so I'm addicted to almost anything you put in my body. To be honest with you, I'm addicted to sugar. Lord help me if I go down a cookie aisle in the supermarket, I'm in trouble. But that's a whole different story. But I'm an alcoholic. I've been drinking since then. I grew up in a pretty poor neighborhood, didn't have any money, yada, yada, yada. But we had plenty of booze in the house. I remember my mother used to keep gin underneath the kitchen sink, and I would steal the gin and fill it up with water, and I'd get drunk, but I don't know how she got drunk. And that's been my whole life, drinking and stealing and lying and all of that stuff. And so as I grew up, when I was 9, I always share this story because I'll never forget it. My sisters and I, we found my mom laying on the floor. She had got shot in the head, and that was an unsolved mystery, but that's a good resentment to keep for a long time. And so that occurred. She lived, and next thing you know, we moved to a different city, and I discovered that if you roll up Lipton tea bag in a zigzag and smoke it, it smells like weed. And so my first time I ever got high was I was smoking Lipton tea. And I don't know if anybody ever got high on Lipton, but I sure did. At least I thought I did, and that was my whole thing. And I didn't realize till later that my disease centered in my mind, not necessarily in the substances I take, but the way I think. And so from then, I'm going to age myself a little bit. I ate a bunch of pills back in the days, Christmas trees, Black Beauties, Cross Tops, Sofers, and Quaaludes, and all of that. And I discovered that, and I fancy myself as a connoisseur of fine grapes, which means I'm a wino. And I just like the most exquisite bouquet known to men, like MD 2020 Wild Irish Rose, Thunderbird mixed with Kool-Aid, shaken, not stirred. And well, back then, before I graduated to such a fine connoisseur, I used to like to drink things like Ripple and TJ Swan and all of that. And Quaaludes go good with Ripple, let me tell you, And I remember back in the 70s, I used to eat Quaaludes and roller skate, listen to Donna Summers, had a big old afro with a pick in the back, and life was good. And I continued that, and I was about 16 years old. But, around 14, I decided that the things going on at my house wasn't fair to me, so I ran away from home, and I was homeless for 23 years. And drinking and drugging goes well with being homeless because you really don't care about what's going on out there. At the age of 15, I started injecting drugs, and that was my whole life, just out there drinking and using and doing drugs. And it's really fascinating that I can't say, I experimented with anything. If you put it in front of me and tell me to get me high, I did it. I'm from the days when we used to smoke hash underneath a glass. I am one of those people that would go to a Grateful Dead show just to get left in a parking lot. That's just how I rolled, and it didn't matter to me what was going on as long as I can get that next drink or that next drug, and I was just addicted. And so life seemed to be going okay because that was my norm, but I didn't realize that, my whole life was sort of like the negative part of a Polaroid picture. And, I ran off, joined a carnival, and everything was great. And I'm from back east, and my friend Jimmy said one day, hey, let's go to California. And I thought, okay, well, that'd be fun. And the only thing I ever knew about California was what I saw on TV from the Beverly Hillbillies. And believe me, California is not all like the Beverly Hillbillies. It's not. And so we loaded up a 67 Mustang and drove out here, and everything I owned was in a duffel bag. And there was a dog that threw up on all my stuff, and we arrived in California, and I thought, yeah, I've arrived, and we cruised through Hollywood, and I seen Rodeo Drive, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be the life for me. And we kept on driving, and we stopped in Linwood, and they don't show Linwood on TV, but that's where we ended up at. And being the true addict that I am, I ended up hanging out in a park, and next thing you know, I'm smoking PCP. And again, I'm selfish and self-centered, and if you tell me to do a little bit one way, I'm going to do a lot anyway. And I remember first time I was smoking PCP, they told me to just dip the cigarette in the juice and go ahead and smoke it. Well, I dipped the cigarette in the juice and wrapped a zigzag around it and dipped it again and wrapped a zigzag around it and dipped it again. And next thing you know, I was frozen. I was like stuck on stupid. And, ever since then, I decided don't dip so many times. And so I cut back on PCP and discovered cocaine. And, back then, cocaine was ether-based. And, I thought, yeah, this is going to be nice. So I started injecting coke. And I'm living the California dream, sleeping at a bench at a park, smoking Sherm and injecting cocaine. And I thought that was the way life was supposed to be. And nobody, well, I didn't know that I was homeless. I thought I was a party animal. And so I lived that way for a while. And all the while I thought it was normal, and then from there I discovered that if I can distribute these chemicals, I can make some money, And all in all, when I first left Ohio, I quit school in the 8th grade, and that's all the knowledge I knew. And so I'm out attempting to sell drugs. And I say attempting because I kept getting arrested. And next thing you know, I'm spending most of my time in those gated communities up and down, Northern California. And I thought that was normal. And that continued to happen. And all along, I had a dream, I had a vision. I felt that one day, just one day, all I wanted to do was save enough enough money to buy a crack rock the size of a melon and smoke it out of a tuba. And that was my dream, but it never happened, and I just ended up going to jail. And finally, one day, after going through all of this stuff, a police officer who was kind to me told me, you might have a problem. And me being arrested so many different times, I didn't think I had a problem, but somebody had to tell me I had a problem. And it's a sad day in life when all that you're doing resulted to nothing and you still thought you had it going on. And that was the delusion I was living in. And so this police officer told me, you have a problem. And I said, okay, well, then what's the solution? And so he was kind enough to have a friend that scholarshiped me into a treatment program. And I went to this treatment program. And, I was a stranger in a strange land. I'm used to lying, cheat, stealing, and being a hustler. But I didn't know anything about going out to get a job. I didn't know anything about how to be a worker among workers. I didn't know anything about respecting people and all of that stuff. I was always taught that might makes right, and if you want something, just take it. And so it was really weird going into this treatment center, and I nicknamed the treatment center Squaresville because everybody there was squares to me. They had jobs, they had families, they took baths, and I was like being a square because don't you know it's like hip, slick, and cool. But I slowly adapted to this, and it was really interesting because they used to tell me stuff like, well, we're going to love you till you love yourself. Like, get away from me, I spent most of the 90s in prison, and all of a sudden all these men are running up wanting to hug me. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, man. It's like, don't do that. But I grew accustomed to it, and I got introduced to the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it was really interesting because my first sponsor cussed me out, he gave me the truth in a way in which I didn't really like it. But the message had depth and weight. And so I just asked him to be my sponsor, and he introduced me to those 12 steps. And somewhere in the middle of the steps, I found the God and Miracle business. And, those steps are super important for me. And, I come to realize that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs, and my life was unmanageable. I mean, being homeless 23 years, being the age of 37, not having anything, not having any job skills, that was really unmanageable, and I hit the second step, and I came to believe a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. And, they had to break it down to me. They told me to break it down to 3 different parts. Find a power greater than yourself, find a higher power, and find a God. And I had to break it down in those 3 different steps. And even then, I was a little slow on the uptake. And they told me, well, wouldn't a judge be a power greater than yourself? And I'm like, okay, I can buy that, Because I always believed in God, but I thought God had to be this big old miraculous God that saved me. Whenever I'm getting sentenced, it's like, please, God, let me get a lesser sentence. And but I discovered that I can pick the kind of God that I want to, one that I can understand, one that's intimate to me, and that God is still with me today. And then I made a decision to turn everything over to that God. And as I continued to take the steps, I started living life in a whole different way. I started going to school. I remember I tested God one time. I went to a park I used to get loaded at. And I said, you know what, God, I know cars run on gas, and I know this bench is solid. Prove to me that you exist, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. I mean, I just kept it real. I believe that if if you need to ask a question, go straight to the source. And I at that point in time, I had my first spiritual awakening, and I got this ease and comfort over me, and I was given 3 directions. I was told, don't hurt anybody, don't hate, and always finish what you start. And so I started going to school. Here I started with an 8th grade education, got my GED in the county jail, started going to college, and next thing you know, I graduated becoming a psych tech, And then I went and I got my license. Now I'm a licensed psychiatric technician, and I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, more is better. So I kept going to school, and next thing you know, I turned out to be a registered nurse. And it was really fascinating because I had, and I still have in my record a bunch of felonies. And people would tell me, they're not going to let you be a nurse. You have felonies on your record. And it's like, you know what? I'll just do the footwork and leave the results up to God. And next thing you know, I turn out and they allowed me to become a nurse. And I sit back and I laugh these days because I always wanted to be a drug dealer, and God made me a nurse. So now I have a license to pass out medications, And so I continued to live the life. I start working the steps, start sharing my experience, strength, and hope with people, did a bunch of 5th steps, talked about what's really going on, looked at my character defects, found out I'm selfish, dishonest, afraid, just do exactly opposite, which is the 7th step, humbly asking to remove those shortcomings. And next thing you know, I'm getting introduced to different opportunities like having a job and all of that stuff. And so I started working alcoholically, and again, more is better. And next thing you know, I pay off my credit, and all of a sudden I get this house. And it's really fascinating because I can still remember to this day of eating cheeseburgers out of a dumpster, and now I eat cheeseburgers from Jack in the Box. It's a big difference when you get them fresh off the grill, But and I absolutely insist on enjoying life, and I don't take myself too serious, And so I'm working the steps, I'm making amends, and I made financial amends and got my credit score cleaned up, and next thing you know, I could buy a house, and I'm living indoors, and I'm just all along going, okay, God, what else do you want me to do, And so I started working for a treatment center. They asked me if I wanted to help them develop a dual diagnosis program. So I said, yeah. Alcoholically, I created a long-term dual diagnosis program. And it's really fascinating how I can still remember wearing the same socks every day for a long time. And next thing you know, I'm overseeing this dual diagnosis treatment program. And so I'm continuing to do all of this stuff. And, again, more is better. I'm back in school again. I'm getting my Bachelor of Science degree. And I shared this story, and there is a longer version, but I don't have enough time for the whole thing. But I shared it so much that somebody told me, well, your story sounds so good, you should, write a book about it. And I'm like, okay. So I sat down and I wrote a book about it. And in my head, I was just going to get 100 copies and go to different AA meetings and pass them out. And so I wrote this book, and next thing I know, Fox News pick it up. And and then Dr. Drew read my book, and all of a sudden he's like, well, I kind of want to meet you. So he gives me a call, and next thing you know, we're besties. And I'm like, wait a minute, and it's funny because I always say, don't quit before the miracle happens. I mean, the reason why I ran away from home was from intense childhood abuse. I mean, it was bananas in my house. And here I am, this adult child from trauma, turning out to be this person that's going out developing programs, writing books, working with different people. I was blessed to cross paths with these 2 young gentlemen here in the room with me, and next thing you know, I get to share my story again. And I thought, okay, well, this is cool. Got anything else? He goes, yep. And he goes, go and help somebody. And so off of a resentment because my brother stolen his disease, he was homeless, I decided that to find a place for him, I bought this 9,000 square foot 1916 abandoned mansion that has 12 bedrooms. And it's like, what an order. I can't go through with it, And it's really fascinating that I get to do these things because I don't drink or do a drug one day at a time. And I depend on God's help to guide me through almost everything. You know, life is so much easier when I'm not allowed to hate. Life is so much easy when I don't intentionally harm people. Life is so much easier when I just finish things that I start, and I'm able to do that. You know, part of my drinking and using, I had the privilege of smoking methamphetamine. I don't know if anybody out there ever did meth before, but that's a very interesting drug, you know, and it's really funny because they call it speed, but it takes you a long time to get things done. I don't understand that, you know, and people who do meth, we have our own language, you know, it's just, you'll sit there and you go, and then the other person go, and you understand exactly what you're talking about. You know, I call that language tweakanese, you know, and it's really fascinating because I have the experience to go out and work with people. And I mean, my tweakanese isn't as sharp as it used to be, but I understand, you know, what's going on. And so I'm continuing to do these things, and I'm just enjoying life on life terms, and I'm running around, you know, promoting this book. I'm running around developing this program in another state. I'm running around doing all of these things, and, you know, I'm like, okay, God, I'm tired, you know, and the God that I have in my life doesn't get tired, you know, and he just tells me, well, tie up your shoestrings because I have something else for you to do. And I'm like, what? And he goes, go to school to be a nurse practitioner. And I'm like, what? You know, and again, more is better. So I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner. It's really fascinating of the things that I get to do. And I get to work in, you know, the area where there's a lot of homeless people. I get to be a maximum service to those individuals because I have empathy and compassion because I know what it's like to be homeless. And God has blessed me with the ability to be out there with these people. And it's really fun. I enjoy it. I love different situations, and I smile at almost everything. I was treating a lady the other day, and you know, the staff said, well, pull the blankets off of her feet. And I pulled the blankets off of her feet, and I seen her toenails. I'm like, God, those look just like mine used to be, you know? And so I had the privilege of writing her a foot soak and some A&D ointment to soften up her toesies. And, you know, she got I guess she got, what is that, considered a pharmaceutical pedicure. You know, and it's just, getting sober is the bomb. You know, the things that I'm able to do is really amazing. But there is work to be done. I can't rest on my laurels. You know, I get up in the morning, I hit my knees before I hit my feet. I always pray for the knowledge of God's will and the power to carry that out. And I go out and I carry the message of, you know, depth and weight. And I'm really privileged to not just be able to talk about it, but to be about it. You know, a lot of people can talk the talk, but walk the walk. You know, I always tell people, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you say. And I get to be an example of what the 12 steps have done in my life. But I always have to remember, I am an alcoholic. Always. Deep down inside, I have that brain that one is too many, and, you know, it's never enough. 1,000 is never enough. You know, and I experience that. Like I said, I'm addicted to cookies. I know myself. I am not safe inside of a grocery store. I am not. Do you know how many different flavors of Oreos they have out there?
A lot.
Jeez, oh my God. They have double stuff, thin stuff, on the side, outside. They have more Oreos than Bubba Gump got shrimp, you know? and it's just, and I stay away from it, you know, because I'm a nurse and I know I'll get diabetes and I don't want to have to deal with all of that. But I absolutely insist on enjoying life and just being able to carry the message. You know, this program does work. And, you know, like they say, if you want what we have to offer and you're willing to go to any length to get it, then I highly recommend you take some steps. You know, this program in my life and my experience has given me the ability to do things I never could have imagined. You know, at one point in time, I was a director. I'll share this last story and probably keep going. No. But I was privileged to work as a director of nursing in a psychiatric hospital. Now, why would God give me a job as a director of nursing in a psychiatric hospital? Because I was nuts, you know. And there's 2 times I had an assistant, and I remember during COVID, this one female patient was crashing because of respiratory distress, and I ran in there with no gear or nothing to save her life, and I worked on her for a while, and she made it. And then afterwards, me and my assistants, we were, you know, talking about it. And she goes, "Do you know that you went in there and you didn't have no gloves on and no mask?" And all of that stuff, and you work with that patient. And I just looked there and I go, you know what? I used to eat out of a dumpster. I used to inject drugs in my body. I was homeless for 23 years. You think COVID wants to come into this body right now? You know, and so, you know, like it says, no matter how far down the scale you're gone, you can see how your experience can benefit others. You know, so on that note, my timer just went off, and so I would love to continue, but you know, my time is short. But thank you for allowing me to share.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. That share was amazing. I'm trying to shut off the Instagram. Hang on one second.
Anthony, I love listening to you because the miracle for you keeps coming. And you got, well, how many years sober?
I have 24 years of sobriety.
24 years of sobriety, and now you're becoming a nurse practitioner.
A nurse practitioner.
And that's the miracles still happening.
Still happening, yeah. And I know the long story.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And to see this man, I want to tell you guys just a few things before I open it up. I want to start with, I've heard his whole story, and I don't know exactly what street it was, but it was, I believe, Harbor
and Wilson.
Harbor and Wilson is where he used to hang out in Costa Mesa, right?
Yes.
For years. This man, as nerdy as he sounds today,
Nerdy.
was a angry man.
Yeah.
Very angry man. And to see you laugh at everything in life, and it's because of the gifts. It's because I love the part that you talked about. You know, I'm just going to do the footwork and leave the results up to God.
Right.
So many of us, not just addicts, but people in general, we go through life not enjoying the journey and looking for the destination. And sometimes the destination isn't even the place that you want to be.
Right. Exactly.
So when you say it the way you said it, you know, that you do the footwork and you're enjoying the journey of life.
And that's what life is all about. It's really fascinating because I'm educated now. Okay, I think I know some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just because I almost got a master's degree, I'm intelligent. But I discovered that everybody has an expiration date. We're not going to be here forever. So why not get the best out of your minutes that you can? You know, for me, time is precious, you know, and I enjoy every minute that I can get. I mean, every little minute. Some of the little things mean a lot. And I guess I learned that from being homeless because I'm grateful for everything. And if you don't, for me, I can't tell people what to do, but what I've learned is develop an attitude of gratitude. You know, when you wake up in the morning, be grateful you're alive. You know, if you open your eyes, be grateful that you can see. You know, for those of us who don't want to get directly out of bed, be grateful you got batteries for your remote control. You know, all those little things mean a lot. And you don't even have to have the big miracle, but those little ones accumulated creates all kinds of different happiness. And I've discovered that by, you know, having to not have anything. You know, and it's really interesting because sometimes I wonder, well, how come I had to go through that to get to this? So that I can have this mindset that I have. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I just love life. I really do, man. It's a blast.
Yeah.
You know, I get a flat tire. Hey, I got a car. You know, things like that.
I'm gonna divulge one other thing. The reason why I know Mr. Anthony Brown. You know, a few years into my career, 10 years into my career, I went into one of the gnarliest relapses of my life, and I struggled in and out of the rooms for 5 years. Couldn't get it together. Finally, I got arrested enough times that the judge would not let me out. And I got to detox at one of the best detox facilities around, 550 North Flower in Santa Ana.
92703.
Yeah. Been there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And shortly after that, I was released to this program in Costa Mesa called Nancy Clark. Mm-hmm. You used to run group on what, Thursday night?
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday and every other Saturday, I believe.
Every other Saturday.
Yep. And I was there for 365 days.
grueling 365 days.
Yep.
But it was cool.
Facts, huh?
Yeah, and you know, it's really fascinating because we never know why we're given a specific piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But now it all fits that we're sitting here today.
Yeah. I wouldn't have even known. You know, it was a little over 6 years ago that I was there, and you wouldn't even know that today we were going to just be sitting in a room together on a podcast, on a Zoom meeting. And it is also a fact too that he truly is really good friends with Dr. Drew. If you guys see our Instagram and there's pictures of us with Dr. Drew, that's only because we were at his event.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That was a really good event as well. I want to open this up for participation because this is one of my favorite parts of the meeting. I love to hear what everybody's got going on in their lives. You could share whatever you want. The only rule is we have a 3-minute share rule. At 3 minutes, we push what button? We got a new system over there too, so bear with us. Not that one. The second one. Yes. Okay, and then really quick, if you could just cue the intro real quick, and then we'll go live.
Oh, we did this already.
We're gonna do that a couple times a meeting until we get it down.
Freak.
Anybody? Would anybody like to share? Raise your virtual hand. Yes.
There we go.
Nice. Starting
Derek.
off strong.
Nice. Hi, Tara.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Tarek. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Really cool to be on here, man. Somehow I got mentioned on a live and saw an opportunity for a new meeting, and I was like, I'm in.
Nice.
Can't say no. I loved your share. Very powerful. What I took from that qualification was the true definition of experience, strength, and hope. And I'm not new to sobriety, but I'm new to receiving and asking for help in sobriety. When I was 29 years old, I got myself sober after 15 years of battling alcoholism and drug addiction. Woke up handcuffed to a hospital bed with my mom looking at me. And I spiraled into so much self-hate that I managed to take that and use it to stay sober for 3,010 days. And I never fixed what was inside of me. I only changed everything that was on the outside of me. There was no God in my life. There was no community in my life. There was only anger and rage and self-hate. And I built the external life of my wildest dreams in sobriety, man. I barely graduated high school and I became a Fortune 100 executive by the time I was 31. And everything on the outside was like amazing. And everything on the inside was terrible. And when I relapsed, I burned my entire life to the ground in a matter of 2 months. I was on the news. Everyone knew I relapsed, 14 charges, 8.5 years sober, and it took less than 2 months to burn my life to the ground because I didn't fix anything on the inside. And I lost all hope because I couldn't believe I gave away my sobriety. But I never really had sobriety. I had a lot of wins at white knuckling it. And that's what I had. And now that I've been a member of Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program for over a year and a half, the joy that I've had in my life is incomparable to anything else. Incomparable. Like before I got sober this last time, I lost everything, including my children. And I wasn't supposed to ever get my kids back. And I just showed up and did the right thing any opportunity I had. And 1 year to the day that I lost my kids, I got my kids back. And the other night I was making their peanut butter jelly sandwiches for school. And just cutting the crust of those peanut butter jelly sandwiches gave me more joy than any single thing ever in my entire life. And that's because I fixed what was on the inside and expected nothing in return. So thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope, man. Much appreciated.
Thanks, brother. Frankie.
Hello.
Hi, Frankie. How you doing, brother?
Hey, it's been pretty good from my last time I came on here a few weeks ago. 33-year-old alcoholic. This is my second time coming and speaking on here. Anyways, I'm 31 days sober from my first time coming on here and speaking to you. I had an accident September 2nd of 2023, which changed my life for I gotta say for the better. I almost killed myself in a DUI crash. And right now I'm on working my steps. You know, they've changed my outlook on how I perceive my life today, and never really gave two shits about anything else besides just getting tore up. You know, alcohol, drugs, etc., etc. But being here today and coming back and talking to you guys has made my night. You know, it's making me happy, a better person to come and see all these smiling faces and everybody sharing their stories and listening. So, with that being said, thank you guys again for having me today. And I'm just doing one day at a time, you know, just giving myself the peace of mind that I could remain sober for my children. I took them to the pumpkin patch yesterday, and I kid you not, years before I'd go drunk and tore up, just letting them have a ball. But this time it's different because reality is kicking in that I have to be here for them, for my kids and for my wife and everybody else around me that's pushing me to live a sober and fulfilling life, which I took for granted many years. But with that, I appreciate you guys picking me and coming back, and I'll see you next week.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I feel like clapping that one.
Yeah.
You know?
Frankie's not fucking around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. He's taking this DUI. That's some serious shit at DUI, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also like the scariest thing ever these
Yeah.
days, man. It's like, you know, and I don't know what state he lives in, but in the state of California, you know what happens if you kill somebody under the influence?
Yeah, you're gone.
It's 15 to life.
Yeah.
We all sign that when we take our California driver's license. Since 2012, I think, 13, something like that.
Wow.
We all have signed that if we kill somebody, it's no longer. Remember, it used to be
Manslaughter.
vehicular
Vehicle
manslaughter. It's a murder. It's a type of murder. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
So it's a scary thing, and even worse than that, like I've been in solo, you know, under the influence car accidents. Just the fact that we're still alive. It's all a miracle. So keep it up, Frankie.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
That's
Congratulations,
awesome, and
brother.
I love hearing that you're working the steps
Yeah.
because, like, the steps are what changes you from the inside out.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so keep that up. Anybody else wanting to share?
Come on,
before
get your hands up, guys. Let's go.
before I pick on them.
Come on.
I like
Oh,
to-
She's reaching. She's reaching. I saw her. She's reaching. Yeah, she's reaching. Amy was reaching. Amy was reaching. I saw her reach for something. It better not have been a smoke. It better not have been a smoke.
Hey, you know
You're
this.
letting us smoke.
You guys,
Hi. Find a hand.
you guys can vape in this meeting if you
Yeah,
want
you
to.
can vape. You go.
Thank you.
Not in here.
I go to another one during the week that you're not supposed to drink anything or smoke online. Anyway,
No, that's fine.
my name's Amy. I'm in the Midwest.
Hey, Amy.
5.5 months sober
Nice.
from alcohol. 2.5 years sober from meth. Really miss the meth. I can do without the booze. I hate that I still miss it after all this time, but I do. I loved your share, Anthony. That was great. Perseverance and faith have brought you a long way. And I definitely appreciate the education and your drive to keep educating yourself. I've done the same thing. I smoked meth since I was 25. So about 25, 26 years. And I got my associate's degree high. I got my bachelor's degree just drunk. But then I went and got another certificate high. And I just was like, I don't want to do this way. I kept thinking I was buying myself more time, like more hours in a day. If I could stay up and cram just this much longer, I could get this much more. And it just wasn't the right way to do it. And, it just makes you pick bad decisions over and over and over in your life. I mean, I'm divorced twice and have been a single mom most of the time. And he's great. My son's 21. He's awesome and thriving, and that's great. But I could have been so much more. And I have to rely on my faith to not go there, because that's my biggest thing right now is trying to stay out of the dark. It's very, very tough. I'm so sober right now. My clarity is just off the chain, but sometimes I just like, God, can I numb for a second? Can I just find some peace? Because everything, that buzz that is always there of everything you got to do or everything you need to do to maintain what you're doing, it's tough. And I don't struggle so much with the urge to drink, but I think I struggle with the boredom of not having people over and not being the social person and not doing all the things I used to do. But I know it can be done. So I pray for everybody to go one more day. I know it's hard, but we can do it. And if you can't, like, my phone number's up there for my IOP meetings because we were all at rehab together. So we're a little more intimate, but I forget to take it off when I come over here. But I'm really so happy that I found you guys on Instagram, because I follow you guys and it makes me smile every day. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Wow.
You guys all make us smile every day too. Like I don't know if everybody like realizes how many like amazing positive DMs that we get every single day, that somebody will tell us I'm so grateful I found your page. I stayed sober today because I found your page. And we're like, what? We're like these two dorky old men. Well, Shane's not old.
No, I'm not old.
But I'm glad you guys said two.
Anyways, we really appreciate you guys as well. You make our days brighter when our days are hard.
And we pray for Amy.
Did you want to share? Oh, Susan.
I'm clicking. Oh, there we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name is Susan. I am actually the mother of a recovering drug addict.
Nice.
My son is 33 years old, and I have more of a question. First of all, I appreciate you allowing anyone to join the meeting. So my question is, my son he's 15 months, as far as I know, because you never really know, 15 months sober, with the exception of marijuana. And I do know that he attends meetings. I do think he has a sponsor. I am waiting for the making amends part, because even 15 months sober, and this is what I attend a parent support group where I've been educating myself on the recovery process. And I think he's in that angry phase, and he takes his anger out on me, and he is very sharp with his tongue. I have never gotten an apology for anything. So my question is, how long did it take you, any of you can answer the question, to get to that making amends part, specifically with your mothers, who were always there for you and supportive of you, and who probably enabled you way too much like I did, because it wasn't until I stopped enabling that he was able to get sober, which was the hardest thing I had ever had to do, was to cut him off completely. But again, I've never received that apology. My grandson was taken away from him. He is very close to getting him back. So there's a lot going on there. And I had to get out of his way so that he could get his custody of his son back, because him fighting with me was not helping the situation. So making amends, if anybody could speak on that part and maybe what his process is, and I don't care if it takes forever. I just want my apology. That's it. I love my son to death. I love my grandson, but I want my amends. I want my apology. Anybody?
Anthony?
Okay, yeah. The men's process and the 12th, I can only speak from my experience. Okay. When I was going, because I made a bunch of amends to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, and when opportunity came, I did it, but I had to be ready to do it. There was, in some cases, there was a lot of underlying things why I didn't do it. You know, for me, it was fear of rejection. You know, what if I go up to make amends and they don't accept it? You know, and so we wait and we pray and we wait and we pray. But I'm a firm believer that, and this is just for me, in God's time, it's going to happen. It's part of the process. And sometimes, unfortunately, we have to practice patience, you know, and one of the amends from an outsider's perspective is the fact that we know that this individual is safe. Sometimes we have to live on that one for a while, you know, and just be careful sometimes when you press the issue, because that'll push a person away, you know. And so that's my take on it. It'll come sometimes, like they say in the program, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it will always happen. So it's just patience a little bit.
I can say from my experience with making amends, and actually truly like working with my sponsor, and getting to that point, the steps are in a order for a reason. And for me, the amends process, for me to actually make an amends, I needed to have truly changed the behavior that caused me to need to make amends to that person. So with my sponsor, it wasn't until we've reached that point and I felt comfortable, my sponsor felt comfortable, and we talked, you know, and it's with a God thing at that point, that I'm ready to make that amends. Because to me, that part of the step work is that I'm not going to repeat that same behavior, you know. Yeah, there's another step after that, but I believe that step is for something different, for you know, little outbursts of my, you know. So that's kind of how it works for me. And you know, and I did hear you say that your son
15
is
months.
15 months, but may still smoke marijuana. Which we, out here in California, we call that California sober.
Yeah.
I have another word for that, but I'm not going to say it.
Most of us in this room are totally sober. And I find that to be much more effective for myself personally.
Yes.
Once again, can only speak for myself, but being totally sober and free from all substances, and then working the steps really makes the difference in your life. In my life, I should say. The end.
The end.
Good one, guys.
Share.
Who would like to share?
Matt.
Yes. Hey, Matthew.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Matthew. I'm over here in Vancouver, Washington. I guess my addiction started when I was younger. I went through, you know, child abuse with my father, then resenting my mom because she didn't protect us, to you know, lying to myself, you know, coming out as a gay male. I hid it till I was about 25 years old. You know, so I dealt with that. And in the midst of all of that, you know, you know, it was seeking that self-validation, that self-worth from everybody else around me. And so start hanging out with the wrong crowds. And it was, you know, I got into alcohol, and then from there I got into, you know, drugs. And then, you know, coming out to my family, it was, you know, they blocked me, and, you know, I've been sued from my parents, for massive amounts of money because they had an issue with it. So just all of that. I've got a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old son, because I got married like mom wanted me to, and all those things. But I wasn't happy, and there had been a couple times where suicide seemed better than staying alive. And then fast forward, then when my family was finally okay with it, I was married to a guy for 10 years, and I had full custody of both of my kids, and I was doing all the right things. But then we had separated because that was I guess I married what I grew up with, the toxic environment, the controlling, the verbal abuse, that type of thing. And once that, and then it was my alcoholism got worse throughout my 10-year marriage. And then once him and I separated, and my kids ended up moving out because of the toxic environment. It wasn't until then, then I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, and then I got introduced to cocaine. I was like, oh, this is great. I can go on a 5-day bender and be fine. I was losing jobs left and right. And it wasn't till March 5th of, I'll be 7 months clean and sober on this Thursday. It was March 5th or March 4th. I had it was let's have a bender of a weekend with friends. And, I was house sitting for some family members, and I ended up calling my parents and said, this is going to be the last phone call. You have about half an hour to get to me. I have an 8-ball sitting in front of me. My mom's like, what's an 8-ball? And I'm like, so I told her, and her and my dad were there. And then I was in the psych ward or the suicide ward for 3 days. And then they got a hold of my sister, who had been trying for me for months and months and months on end to get me into, go to treatment. And I didn't have a problem. I was fine. I walked into treatment. I went to treatment in Ridgefield, Washington, and walked into treatment broken, face down, just no self-worth, no self-validation. I spent 45 days there. And then when I got home, it just brought me back anxiety, and I couldn't handle it. And so I made the decision to, pack up myself, and I moved to Vancouver. I needed to move away from my bars that I frequented all the time, my dealers that I was around. I wanted a better life. And, walking out of treatment I was very vulnerable. I was in a vulnerable state. I was weak. It was coming out of that. I was in a safe place when I was in treatment for 45 days.
Yep.
And so, being down here, I took the whole summer off to work on myself, and do the things I needed to do. And, but being back out in society, and I just started back at work, and thank you to Shane reaching out. I had reached out the other day to a friend of mine, and, got me in contact with Shane. I mean, I was having a rough day, and it was going to be either I was going to find a bar or something was going to happen. But so I appreciate you, man, being able to talk to you and, talk me off that ledge. I mean, I got my boyfriend right now as well. He's a recovering addict, and, he's had his ups and downs, and, it's not easy. It's a day-to-day job. And so I think it's very cool that, I'm taking a lot of self-inventory of my friends right now.
Smart.
They all, some of them are understanding, but some of them don't get it. They're like, well, you can't be around it. I've opted out of going to weddings because I don't trust myself. I've only been to treatment once, and that's the only time I want to go. I'm just staying very involved in the NA and AA community around here, and, and just keeping myself busy with work. And I'm actually signed myself to go to college. I want to get my associates and my bachelor's in help people in addiction. And I've never, ever had the self-worth enough to actually want to do something like that. So I start that in January. There was a hiccup in my FAFSA form, so I won't start that till January, but it's coming. It's here. And so just so many positive doors have opened for me. I've got a roof over my head now with a family who's just been amazing, and just, nothing but sober support. I mean, they provide a lot of structure. I mean, it's, you screw up, but we're always here to support you. So, I'm thankful for that. And, I've seen way too many of my friends die on overdoses just in the last 6 months. And it's been terrible. And so, to see that, to know that I'm lucky to have this life that I have now, I'm thankful. So thanks, guys, for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for reaching out as well. And damn, Shane.
Yeah.
Thanks for I think I saw that text too. We were on a group text. Was it this weekend?
Well, I believe so. Yeah.
I was down and out.
You were gone. Who's next? Let's keep this raw party going, baby. Let's keep it going.
We got time for one more.
Maybe two.
Well, yeah. Well, you guys know how it is. We never cut
Let's
it
go.
off
Who's
if
next?
people are sharing.
Andrea, full spectrum. Andrea Fitzgerald, she's right there. Michelle, we got Zoom user. Peter Gates is up there. Who else we got?
All right,
there
not
we go.
Michelle.
There we go.
There she is. She's ready.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Michelle,
Hello.
alcoholic addict. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, just checking. Thank you for your lead. That was so beautiful. I wanted to share with you guys my belief in a higher power. I call it our divine creator because a lot of people clam up about Jesus or God. So it works for me, our divine creator. So I didn't plan on getting sober. I'm 49 days sober from alcohol today.
Nice.
And I didn't plan on my sobriety date. I tried it before. And then God made me sober August 15th, the day I went into the Air Force. I already shared that before. And then last Thursday, laying in bed, I was like, damn, tomorrow's September 29th. I was like, I graduated basic on September 29th, which was a Friday. And I was like, God, don't fucking play with me. So I pulled up 2006's calendar, and sure enough, y'all, I went to the Air Force at the age of 17, and 17 years later to the day, same day of the week and everything, God made me, delivered me from alcohol. So at 17, I made it out of the woods of my abusive childhood, abusive home. And then 17 years later, I made it out of the woods with alcohol. And I just thought that was so prolific, and it means a lot to me because synchronicity is very important to me. I've always believed in a higher power, God and whatnot, but as a child, I'm like, where the fuck you at, bro? Like, in just what I was taught as a kid, that's not the way the world was working out. And I found out I'm high functioning. I have an ADHD. And, you know, when you're developing as a child, as a lot of people know, if you're under stress and abuse and all that type of shit, of course you're not going to function correctly. But I stuck with it. I went to rehab a bunch of times. I stay in the program. I stay in the rooms. I go to therapy. I'm in DBT, undoing borderline personality disorder, and it's all through God. Not any one person has told me any one thing that's worked, and that's not the way it's supposed to go. Everyone's story of addiction is different. So is our recovery. Happens at different times. Spiritual awakenings, all that shit is different. And once I realized the reason my shit don't look like everybody else's is because that's their shit and this is mine, that was a lot easier. So can't nobody tell me personally that I don't have someone that created me and is like making shit shake in my life. And, you know, there's no going back. I finally healed and, you know, closed the chapter of my traumatic childhood, and there ain't no turning back, you know? And yeah, I graduated my first 6.5 weeks of sobriety last Friday. Sorry,
Nice.
I'm anxious. That's why I'm not looking at you
Nice.
guys. But yeah, that's all I got.
Fucking
I'm
awesome.
gonna stay sober. Try to make amends with my son who's 15. I'm gonna be seeing Aubrey and taking her to the pumpkin patch coming soon this month. And yeah, I feel really stupid. I said I was done, but I feel really stupid because now that I've been sober, I'm like, bitch, if you wasn't drinking, you would have never gave up your child. Because now I'm feeling like I made the worst mistake of my life. But then I tell myself, Michelle, just because you're sober doesn't mean you're completely healed from what you've been through. And there's still more work that I have to do. And it is such a fucking blessing from God that my children are with people who don't have to work through their own shit before they can even address my children. So, you know, I didn't have a good example growing up. I couldn't be a good example, but I'm blessed because I get to be in my kids' lives. I get to make amends. And I almost died from alcohol withdrawal. That's my, oh, woe is me story. I almost died from alcohol withdrawal. So, yeah, it is what it is. And thank you for letting me share. I love you guys. This meeting is so dope. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Great night.
Great night.
Great
huh?
fucking night.
Yeah, that was
Damn.
cool. That was cool.
See? Anthony, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I like this. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, anyways, this meeting, the podcast, everything is dedicated to all the lives we've lost from fentanyl,
And all the lives we're going to save.
and all the lives we're gonna save.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's go both ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
I say I don't know if you guys noticed, but like a lot of times on Sundays I post I post the reason why this podcast exists because it was a Sunday at 7:30 a.m. when I got a phone call that my daughter that she had found her fiance dead from fentanyl, and you know, it was a life-changing event for for my world, for my daughter, for my family. He was like a son to me. And you know, fast forward like 6-7 months, Shane and I lost a really, really good friend and a basketball teammate to fentanyl as well. So, you know, we're in this thing deep, man, deep, and we have a mission, and we won't stop until 300 million people
Can't stop.
have heard our voice. You know, and we get the pleasure to have people like Anthony Brown who have amazing comeback stories. Like, dude was homeless for 23 years. His book, just so you all know, is called From Bench to Park Avenue. Yeah. So check it out. I think it's probably you could Google it. It's probably sold on Amazon or something, right?
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, Park Bench to Park Avenue. So anyways, thank you all for coming tonight. Let's give Anthony Brown a virtual round of applause.
Baby. Yeah, baby.
Cue the button. Sorry, Michelangelo. Not that one. We'll take that one too.
That is a good one, right, Anthony?
That's it. Hey.
See,
it's old school.
That's how.
I'm feeling it.
Let's wait.
funk.
Can you
that's
guys all?
funk.
Does everybody hear that music? Yes. Okay, we're gonna hit it one more time.
And everyone go.
And everybody's gonna do what Shane and I are doing.
Yeah.
And Anthony Brown. Get ready. You guys watching us? Here we go. Hands up in the air. Ready? Cue it. Yeah.
Come on, Tarek.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's in on it.
Hell yeah.
All right,
Everybody
we love you guys.
dance.
We love you guys.
There's a party over here.
It's a party.
All right, guys. Let's pray out.
Pray out. God,
Grant me the serenity
to accept the things I cannot change,
the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah,
See you
man.
guys next week, same time.
Tuesday. Yeah, bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Yeah.